have to do that, don't we?
And this is Yaman.
Okay, now this is epic.
Anyways.
I'm cringing really hard at that fucking...
I love that so much.
Why do you... Explain to me why you think that's...
Because
okay
it's like
now.
like almost like a 9-year-old would say shit like that in their intro for their Minecraft YouTube channel.
100%.
And Ben Shapiro thinks it's something that he should say all the time.
I hate Ben Shapiro, and I hate the word.
Oh god, it was so good. I love that so much.
That is the kind of shit I used to say when I did like YouTube gameplay commentaries on like Modern Warfare 2, and it was like, up here comes this epic play, or get this good triple spray around the corner to clutch the round, like for that play, guys.
Triple spray.
Yeah, there's lots of like Call of Duty gaming lingo that I
just think of Minecraft
still uses. Yeah, I got a triple spray in Minecraft the other day with a bow and arrow against some creepers.
So me and my bros, we were griefing this server, and it was such an epic troll.
I love that shit so much.
I feel like if you have to say you're trolling, you're doing a really bad job of trolling.
I don't even want to use that word in any situation.
Yeah, it sounds dumb as shit, but...
Unless I'm being sarcastic.
That's how I feel. I think I brought this up to Patrick. That's how I feel about the word meme. I love memes.
Yeah.
I hate calling them memes. I hate when someone says, I want to show you a meme, because I feel like then it's not going to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just a similar
Let me show
situation.
you something I found.
Let me show you something. Yeah, that's... When you call it a meme, I think of like...
Let me show you a meme. I'm good. I think I'm fine.
I think, yeah, it's like, I've probably seen it, I just don't need that right now.
Because if it's called a meme, it's probably been done so much that it's not funny anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing about memes is that back in like high school, a meme used to be a pretty specific thing. It was generic like, picture, top text, and bottom text,
troll
impact
face,
font,
whatever,
or like troll face, rage comics, or whatever.
Those
are the two genres of memes. Now memes have kind of like evolved with the culture.
That's repetitive.
Yeah, anything that is kind of remotely funny or weird or
meant to be.
You ever been on Meme Economy?
Yes, that's a good subreddit actually.
That shit is so stupid. I can't believe you actually think that's a good subreddit. Yeah, definitely.
No, people don't.
All they ever post are like, here's the new version of bad thing, good thing. It's like,
oh my god.
People are not literally buying and selling.
I know
memes.
that it's not, Pena. I didn't even mention that I thought it was an actual like market. I'm just saying it's stupid because it's the same stuff over and over again. It's like, here's a template where it's the thing on top is bad and the thing on bottom is good. In variety of ways of doing that.
I think
like the fucking is this loss. Oh my god, I'm so tired of hearing that.
I feel like Meme Economy usually has a pretty good finger on the pulse of what is and isn't funny of like memes, because they'll be like, nope, saw this shit on Facebook, it's dead, kill it.
They have such a weird opinion. Also, they overuse the word cringe. Not everything is cringe.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this discussion extensively, obviously, but I would describe what you said earlier as cringe. Epic.
What?
Epic. Fuck that shit.
Being epic.
Yeah. You know how people keep telling us that we should do video for the YouTube stuff?
Video for the YouTube stuff.
For the YouTube podcast. Anytime we upload the podcast to YouTube, it should have like a video element to it.
Why is it that it sometimes has the waveform visible, but it sometimes doesn't?
I haven't done that in months.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I did that for a little bit, but then it was like, this is kind of useless and makes like rendering it 10 times longer, so I'm not going to do it.
That's fair.
Yeah, like people have it on in the background anyways. Like the graphic is pretty, but it's not worth this whole.
We were appealing to the 3 people who were so like attached to the video that they couldn't look away and they needed something to entertain them as they watched.
Yeah, exactly.
What would we do that would be worth watching during the
Well, people.
What would the video element be?
It would literally just be our faces, I guess people would want to see. But
I don't want to do that.
You don't want to see that, I promise.
I don't want to do it either.
Well, the thing is, I didn't even know how to do that before, but I knew other podcasts have done it before. Jan, you might know this podcast because it falls within like the old Call of Duty community, but do you know Woody's Gamertag?
Yes.
His podcast, Painkiller Already?
I didn't know his podcast, but that is a very familiar...
Yeah, so his podcast with FPS Russia, or the guy who used to do FPS Russia or whatever, and a bunch of other people these days, they all do it over Skype, basically. And he's manages to have them all on screen somehow. And I like looked that shit up, and there's some program that you can do it with. So I was thinking that maybe try that out for like the next week's episode, which is like the year anniversary, which we definitely don't have to, because
it's just the thing is I'm not as comfortable if I know my face is being recorded. I can't relax.
Right.
I'm usually just really like picking my nose throughout this whole thing. I'm,
like you can't
shit.
You can't do that if you're being recorded.
Exactly. Most of the time, I'm not even wearing anything when I record this, so it'd be really bad if I all of a sudden
me neither.
turn
and it's
on the
extra
camera.
weird for me because I'm in Patrick's house.
Yeah, I mean, Yama's just naked in Patrick's
It's
basement.
in the basement.
Right
And there's a
now.
bunch of tools behind him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you don't know. Yaman might be rubbing his balls on those tools while
You
the
never
camera's
know.
off, but if we're recording, you won't be able to do that. So it is what it is.
What is it with people saying that? Like, oh, it's just general, like, maybe I brought this up before, but, like, pranks. I don't know why, but rubbing your balls on shit made me think of that. Like, dudes who said, yeah, I rubbed my balls on my buddy's steering wheel, and it was an epic troll or whatever. Just, like, pranking people. I think I've said this. I'm pretty sure I have. But if someone did that to me, if, like, one of you guys filled my car with, like, ping pong balls or something, I might never talk to you again.
There are certain levels of pranks that are low effort enough that makes things kind of funny.
It's just like property damage. Like, I don't want you to like put rotten eggs in my car. Like, it's not funny.
Yeah, anything like that, anything involving filling someone's office with like a million balloons or like plastic balls. I'm like, this is so annoying.
This is just a hindrance. You're giving me a job to do.
Like,
I don't want
funny.
that. That's not funny.
And it must have been a lot of work on the part of the other person.
How bored are you that you have to give someone else work?
Exactly.
I want to see someone suffer, you sadistic bitch.
Now,
I'm not even going to want to get back at you. I just want you to never see me again.
So I would say that if we're talking specifically about the example of rubbing balls on things, it is really weird, and I would never do it personally.
Yeah, I'm going to catch some disease from your
But that's an
fucking
incredible. That's like super low effort, and you're the only one that's like in on the joke, basically. So if like Yaman, you rubbed your balls on a fork or a spoon that then Patrick later used to eat, and you watch him eat with it, like, you would laugh your ass off because you'd be like, "Oh,
I don't know
LOL."
if I don't. I see what you're saying. I definitely
Or like
wouldn't.
that's the punchline for you, basically.
Well,
Yes, that
it's
would be
already
the
assuming
punchline
that
for
he would
someone
do it
that-
in the first place, which he
I
wouldn't,
guess.
because that's weird.
Yeah, I mean
That's a bad
the reality
example, but I
is
get
that
what
if
you're
you
saying.
ever did that and you were like, "LOL, you got epically trolled. I put my balls on that idiot." Like, I would question why
I don't
want to
do that though.
Yeah,
Like, just giving someone like a hard time, it sounds like. And, just why do people do that? I've seen people who was like, yeah, me and my buddy, we go back and forth trading pranks. It's like on some suburbs. It's like, today I fucked up by whatever, and the thing he did was too far or whatever. Like, it just became so bad that he did something, unacceptable. Like, he filled his car with dead birds or something like that.
Have you seen the episode of Malcolm in the Middle where the episode pretty much starts at the end where they're pranking each other with some super horrible things, and then it backtracks to see what the person did before that to deserve it, and then what they did to deserve that, and then it just goes back and back and back, and that was a good episode.
I probably
just
haven't seen
remember
that shit in years, but that
Years,
sounds great.
but-
I should rewatch that.
It's a great episode.
Patrick, do you have an
Dude.
acceptable prank that you think is funny enough and not weird enough?
Funny enough, if you're messing with me in a video game in the virtual environment where I don't have to work to fix something, then I'm okay with that. Go ahead. Yaman will sometimes, I don't know, kill a team member in Rainbow Six, and I'll be like, Yaman!
I don't.
Or
kill
I'll do that.
teammates.
Or I'll do
I don't
that.
Kill, you'll do that.
That's
yeah.
acceptable. Somebody doing that's okay. But, like, I don't know, taking all the keys off of my computer is just like, that's not, I have to replace that now. You're just giving me work to do. You know what's bothering me?
What?
People, maybe I keep saying it. This will just be like a soundbite that you play before everything I've ever said on this thing. But I might have said this before. But I made a thing about Harry Potter. I brought this up.
You made a post about Harry Potter.
Yeah. There's a scene in Harry Potter in The Prisoner of Azkaban where they execute the hippogriff. And they get a fucking executioner to do it, like an actual like guy with an axe and shit. And I thought that was hilarious that a school employs an executioner. I just did a whole thing about that, and I posted it, but I called it a griffin. And people got fucking so annoyingly upset. They were like, it's a hippogriff, darling, and like called me all these like names that I hate being called, like sweetie and honey, and like I want to strangle you and like throw you into the sun. Like, why do you just why? You're not funny and witty. You're bothering me. And I want to delete your comments, but I'm not going to because I'm a better person. But I am going to talk about it on this podcast. You fucking
I get what you
annoying
mean.
bitch.
I
I don't care what your mythical creature is called. You know what I meant when I said what I said. So why do you care? It's a word. It's a made-up word for a creature that doesn't exist.
I would agree with you. I hate snarky Twitter like Instagram people. Basically, It comes from this sense of, oh, I know more than this person right now in this moment, so I'm going to really rub it in their faces and really own this for what it's worth, even though it's not worth anything at all because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, another thing that fucking bothers me that they also love saying is uncultured swine. I've heard that phrase more times than I've heard my own name.
That's kind of
like,
dead
it
now.
is so fucking overused. Say something else. That's not funny anymore. So many things, like, just repetitive, that aren't even memes, that are just things that are said. Ugh.
Yeah, uncultured.
Shut up.
Well, uncultured swine, I don't know if that was ever an insult, except maybe in like the fucking like 1930s, and then it was brought
That's the
back
point. It's just like,
completely
oh, I'm saying a
ironically.
crazy thing, and that's funny. It's like, it's not funny. It's not.
Yeah, someone will be like, oh, like mint chocolate chip ice cream is terrible, and you're like, how dare you, you uncultured swine? And I'm just like, who the fuck
excuse
cares? Stop.
Just jump off a cliff.
Just see that building over there. I need you to.
Go hang out with all the
Jump.
people that you think are, you know, not more cultured pigs or whatever the fuck opposite of that would be.
The funny thing is that like those two groups definitely overlap to form a sort of like
Cringe pile.
cultural superiority. I didn't want to say cringe pile because I feel
That's
like that
pretty
just
much where
feeds
it is,
into the
though.
whole fucking problem. But
People that care about everything, that are invested in securing the accuracy of everything.
it's not even that they care. It's that I think they're pretending to care more than they actually do, so they can feel more important than they actually are, so they can make themselves feel better than you. You know,
I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but Harry Potter isn't real. That world doesn't exist. I'm sorry. I know that this is your Bible, but I was making a joke. That was it. That was the extent of it, and you got so mad. DMing me and
Patrick,
shit.
that's such a Slytherin thing to say, honey.
You know what else? I got a bunch of DMs, not comments on the video, but I got a bunch of DMs after I made that video, and they were like, what house are you? And I did the test, and I was like, I'm the snake one. And people were pointing out, it's called Slytherin. It's just like, I could not have been more clearly joking. I know I did the test just now. It didn't spit out the answer, the snake one. You fucking asshole. I'm being facetious. I could not be more clear. I've said that so many times in my life now.
Facetious.
It's like a slogan. I could not be more clearly joking.
Imagine, I'd love to see a remake of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone where it's just fucking sorting all the children for the rest of their lives, and it's
This
like,
is the bad guy
just
one.
Like,
You
it's just like
deserve the
really
bad guy.
fucking drunk, and he's just like, the snake one?
It might as well just be called the bad guy one.
It
The
literally
one
is.
for evil kids who wear black and wander around and hiss at people.
The bird one? No, but the emo bird one.
You know,
With
here's
sad
a
kids.
factoid for you. I've been watching a lot of fact videos about characters from Harry Potter.
A lot. You've been watching.
I
a
love
lot.
that shit. It's a good series. It's fun.
If you
But,
watched this a lot, you should have known what the fucking bird was
shut
called.
up. I don't care. It was like after I
Hippogriff,
made that video, I
sweetie.
started watching the movies again and like watching this video. But apparently Hermione was supposed to be sorted into Ravenclaw, but she was like, "Fuck that, make it be Gryffindor." And the hat was like, "Okay," and then they sent him to the Gryffindor one.
Yeah, they really fucking like ignored the other houses for pretty much the entire movie series. Like, who the fuck cares who is in Hufflepuff and who's in Ravenclaw? It's just a bunch of fucking nobodies.
Oh yeah, Hufflepuff.
Well, it was
Yaman got Hufflepuff.
that doesn't surprise
Did
me
I get
at all.
Hufflepuff?
Yes, he did.
I did get Hufflepuff.
I didn't.
It's for people who are empathetic in general.
I couldn't give a Hufflefuck, dude.
I feel like I should take the test because I actually have no idea.
The test is stupid. That test was dumb. I'm so sorry, but there were.
It was, yeah, it's absolutely a stupid test.
It's the stupidest thing in the world. It gets to a point where there's like six questions that are like left, right, red or black. Or, I mean, black or white, yes or no.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
It's the same. I don't know what the fuck the obsession is, but people love being sorted into a named thing that has qualities attached to it, like star signs,
Yeah.
houses, Game of Thrones houses. What else is there? Like, which Power Ranger would you be based on these questions? It's like people love to be sorted into groups. I don't know if it's like an animalistic thing of I want to be,
Oh, definitely
hoppered
is.
into a
100%.
little team. But yeah, they love that shit. They also love like whatever, like the teen novels will have like, oh, these are the districts or these are the whatever. That's not a good example. They're when they're born, but like what was the one? Divergent or whatever.
Divergent.
It's
Yeah,
like,
they have
which thing
classes
you would
of
be.
people. It's like you're like special and you're
a
not.
cool guy.
Yeah, basically. Or like, I don't think Inhumans is a good example. That's just kind of like class warfare.
Mm-hmm.
But that shit can all fuck off. But I wonder if, obviously, this website, this test or whatever, Pottermore,
Yeah,
is
I
what it's
believe
called.
Yes.
Put a lot of money into it. Someone put a lot of money into it. So I wonder how deeply thought out this test is. Like, did they bring in psychologists and
No.
sociologists to
The
There you
thing
go,
determine?
that's
literally
the
goes black or white, yes or no, left or right. The questions don't make the.
It does tell you something about the person. You're
Yeah.
acting like it's
Enough
insane
to
to think that
enough to
2 answer
sort
questions
you
are
into a
not
fucking house
deep enough.
from
There are
Harry
also
Potter.
50 other questions with like 6 or 7 answers that are like a paragraph long. You asshole. There are like other like
Yes,
more
and those were
complex things.
a lot
And
of those
there's
were
6
equally
of them.
irrelevant.
6
Like,
of them had 2
equally
answers.
irrelevant.
You're right. You got them, Yaman. They're
I feel
never
like-
gonna work again because you fucking put them away.
I feel like there's a bunch
I
of
was just
nonsense
saying.
questions in there to like
It's
distract you from
absolutely
the
the
other
stupid
questions.
thing. It's stupid. Yes, it's very stupid, Yaman.
I was just saying, because what's Alex was like, you brought in a psychologist. They put a lot of money into this. Who the fuck? What
One
makes you think they put a
hungover
lot
intern
of?
did this
right?
with an
Literally,
algorithm.
exactly.
And he got a bunch of JPEGs of like wizards that aren't even in Harry Potter.
Yeah,
like with
nothing
swords and
from
shit.
Harry Potter.
It's just-
There's nothing.
It's just wizards from clip art. They
Yeah,
they couldn't
literally.
they couldn't get Harry Potter license even though they are Harry Potter, so they're like, okay,
Shutterfly watermark.
they'll just use clip art for now, and we'll put the Harry Potter pictures in later. So it's
Did you say
like
Shutterfly?
yeah,
Is that not
Shutterstock or whatever.
Shutterstock.
Oh, Shutterstock.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Shutterfly is a My Little Pony character.
I thought Shutterfly was a Pokemon.
I don't fucking know.
I don't
Could
know what
be
I was
both.
thinking of, but Shutterstock is the one.
Someone in the fucking comments is now gonna be like,
Shuttercock.
it's Shimmerfly, sweetie.
I hate being called that shit.
You uncultured swine.
You uncultured.
Just
Fuck
a
that shit.
machine that spits out everything they read because they think it's hilarious.
Is it? Do you have anything else bothering you? I love to see what you hate in the world.
When people say, "Hey, guess what?" and then I say "what?" and they said "Never mind,"
I hate
don't do that
shit.
to me.
Really,
if you
just,
thought it was worth bringing up, even if it's the stupidest thing, is like if you were just gonna say the word egg to me, I want to know that for
Yeah.
some stupid reason. I should not care this much, but it bothers me so much when people do that.
I think it's like any prompt. They're like, "Can I ask you a question?" And you're like, "What?" They're like, "Oh wait, no, never mind." And I'm like, "The fuck you were gonna ask me?" They're like, "No, it's fine." I was like, "Bitch, at this point, it's for me. It's not for you. So tell me what the fuck you were gonna ask me."
Sometimes if it's like I don't care about gossip as much as I used to, so I'm good at like when someone says, "Oh, did you hear about whatever and whoever?" and I'll be like, "No," and they'll be like and like laugh a little bit, and that's the prompt for me to be like, "What happened?" But I go like
But you don't.
I go back to my phone. I don't give a shit. Stupid bags of meat
talk.
had some interaction that I don't care about.
This is about TanaCon.
Who's that?
Tana Mojo.
Oh, is she the one who had a poorly constructed plan for a convention, and then a bunch of 9-year-olds got mad?
Yes.
Who cares? If you paid to go, no, I'm not going to criticize how people spend their money. I will though. I'll do that.
Oh, I'll
but
definitely do that.
like, I'm sorry that you've grown up in a way that makes you care about people that aren't worth anything.
Damn.
What? That's not a
damn.
damn moment. It's just like pick different idols.
No, you definitely should. I mean, Tana Mojo especially is not a particularly deep or inspiring.
It wasn't just her
person.
at this convention though. There's obviously some
Well, it was
other
her
people.
thing. She was definitely the driving force
Wasn't
behind
her
it.
name
Her name is literally
part
on
of
it.
it?
Yeah, but there were other event people,
Yeah.
to my knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm not
but-
saying everybody is worthless and we should all just pile into a room and blow up, but like just pick different idols.
I feel like there are certain creators I would not pay to see directly. That seems kind of scummy. But if
I
it
would
was
never
part
pay
of
to
like
see anyone
a
directly.
larger convention thing like VidCon, I could I could see myself potentially paying to go to
Forgot buy my
VidCon
Donkey shirt.
to see, like, I would go see like Donkey if he was on a panel, or Rooster Teeth or Sugar Pine 7 or something like that, you know. Like, everyone has creators that appeal to them, even though, like, a lot of the creators that go to VidCon don't matter to me and probably don't matter to you guys at all. Like, I don't give a shit about Jake Paul, Logan Paul. I don't care about John Green. I don't care about Tana Mojo, although she got kicked out of VidCon. Literally, there's more people that I don't care about than I do care about, but the few people that I do care about, it's like, cool, why not? We'll have our own low-key thing, and it'll be great.
Loki.
Did you say something?
No. I'm looking at Donkey's merchandise.
Are you shopping right now?
Yes. I forgot to buy a t-shirt. And I'm not sure I like the cut of this t-shirt. When a t-shirt has, like, longer sleeves, you know Yaman, you can't say a joke that's, like, self-deprecating, but there's a muscle in your arm called a tricep, and about where that ends is way too long for a shirt. It should be like the end of your shoulder muscle, like where it gets to a point. But this shirt, it ends like way too long. It's like half of a sleeve of a long sleeve shirt. It's way too long.
Yeah, I hate that shit. I mean, is it like on a model? Because sometimes it's
not.
Depends on like
they
the
wear
size
it as
of
well,
the...
and it looks like it would be the same size.
Okay.
His Leia B is wearing the shirt, and it looks significantly longer than I would like. But I just like short sleeve because I like showing up.
Didn't you? I remember you told me one day that you buy shirts a size too short.
No, I wear mediums because I like snug.
Sounds well. I don't know.
It's not the reason of showing off. I swear. It's just like I like it to be close. This is like an exception, like a baggy shirt. I only wear this when I'm at home.
I mean, a lot of the time, mediums on me, they'll be like perfectly snug and like the amount of snugness I want, but then the sleeves will be like way too short, or like the shirt length itself will be way too short, so I have to go for a large.
My Vine shirt that I still have, the medium one, that's like the perfect size of shirt for me. It's like so snug and small, and that neck is like really big. Like a really big neck is where it's fucking at. I don't want it to be like a choker. Stupid
neck. Did you is that? I wonder if that Vine merchandise you have now is worth a lot.
You can get it on any Amazon, you know. So no, the answer's no.
Really? Okay. Well, is that authentic?
And also, since they don't have the copyright anymore because it's deleted, anyone can sell it.
It's deleted? Fuck.
The Vine app got deleted, yeah.
Well, okay.
It's now just the Vine camera.
Doesn't mean the copyright is gone. Like, there's dead shit everywhere that companies still have.
Yeah, but you can get a McDonald's shirt or whatever brand shirt on Amazon, and it's not necessarily sold by someone who has the rights to sell it.
I guess so. Patrick, what did you do for the 4th of July? This is July 5th right now, so happy 5th, everyone.
I did almost nothing.
Did you not celebrate America?
No. I guess went and picked someone up from a dramatic situation.
I guess you're not a real patriot.
You told me you made food.
Perhaps.
Got something to say about that food?
No.
Right.
Because I did a thing, and I can't talk about that thing.
You can't talk about that thing.
Remember the first thing I told you about, Yaman? Where I went and took over someone? I can't talk about that. But I did go back after that event and then go to a place and make food for people.
Interesting.
So that was not illicit.
I'm just going to assume you outran the police in a Need for Speed situation.
Yes.
Okay.
I love driving very fast.
I bet you do, actually. You strike me as that kind of person.
Okay.
Am I right or am I wrong?
More than a little bit wrong.
More than okay, so you're a very slow driver. You're like
no,
a
I
grandma.
drive the speed limit.
Okay.
You know what I fucking hate? Tailgaters. Like people who go right behind you.
Worst.
Where do you have to be? I'm sorry. Get in front of me and like speed away onto the lane where you have oncoming cars. If that's if it's so important to you. I'm not gonna pull off to the side and let you get in front of me with your fucking shitty lift kit on your fucking 2009 Bronco. You idiot.
I feel bad because I don't know if it's just that I never get tailgated, but I maybe also don't ever look in my rear view mirror that often to notice I'm being tailgated.
What?
I always know what's around my car.
I mean, I always know what's around my car, but only when I'm like
the
shifting,
rear view
like,
mirror.
lanes. Yeah.
Why?
What do you mean?
You don't look in the rear view mirror?
I do, but only like when I'm shifting lanes or anything. If I'm driving forward, I don't really ever look at it, even though
it's my driving is just like glancing at everything and looking around.
Like every 6 seconds.
Yeah, I don't trust people.
Yeah, that's actually a probably good thing because I always just like zone out and like listen to music, or whatever, and just like put it really loud. And
I especially didn't trust people when I was driving around on July 4th because people are fucking stupid.
Oh yeah, no.
Dude, I was driving that night, and 2 different cars seemed like they had people in it that should not have been driving. 2 different.
Did you pull out and shoot them?
Yeah.
I did actually. I murdered them in cold blood. No.
You took
Started
care of the situation.
vehicular combat.
Took out some dangerous individuals from their vehicles.
I saw two cop cars on different points of the road have people pulled over. So don't be a dumbass.
You ever been pulled over by a cop?
Actually, yeah.
How'd that go?
Scary. It actually lasted. He didn't even speak to me. Because I was like, all right, it's happening. I'm gonna own up to it. Bless you.
You just gonna sneeze during his story?
Yes.
Yeah, the thing that I do
Continue,
involuntarily, I'm gonna do
Continue.
consciously.
Continue.
I was driving. I was with Kalina, and we were driving to the beach. This was like last summer, I think, or 2 summers ago. And it was the morning. We were driving through DC as a shortcut, and I accidentally ran a red light because I was waiting for her to like read me some directions, and I wasn't paying attention briefly for like what was in front of me, which was like really bad. And I run the red light, and unfortunately for me, there's a cop car directly behind me. So immediately just like flashes his lights.
Oof.
And I was like, well, here we go.
Was he waiting for you, Alex Pena, to make one bad move?
It wasn't waiting for me, but I think it was just like
bitch.
coincidentally
That's
behind
what you get
me.
for not looking in your rearview mirror.
Yeah, honestly, this is probably
That's what you
all.
get.
This is
That's
all
so
tying
true.
together.
That's a big reason why.
Why doesn't
Always
that?
making sure
Surely that would contribute to your reason why you would look in the rearview mirror all the time. That would be
I didn't-
Like, and
I
this
didn't-
is the story where I learned to always look in my rearview mirror because there's a cop waiting for me.
This was a story that taught me to never run red lights again. But I guess now I should also take it as a lesson to
You
not.
need a story for that.
I mean, like to
This is
pay
the
more
story where I
attention
learned
to
not to
not
rob
running
liquor
red
stores.
lights. But anyways, he pulled me over, and I was like, "Hey, sorry, officer. I knew I ran that red light back there. My bad." And he was like, "License, registration," and I was like, "Here you go." And then he came back like 5 minutes later and like gave me a ticket, and he's like, "Have a good one."
How much was the ticket for?
This was like a weird customer transaction, but I'm the one that's getting
You're getting
fucked.
robbed. How much did you get taken down?
it was like $80.
Oof.
Yeah,
It's amazing. $80 for like 2 seconds of a mistake.
That's,
it sucks.
that doesn't seem like a lot.
It's not,
just
it's
being,
not.
Does that not seem like a lot?
My-
Compared to maybe like speeding?
Yeah.
The 2 speeding tickets I've gotten were $100 each, and if I had waited too long, it would have been $200.
You got a speeding
Yeah,
ticket? I've
it's-
never gotten a speeding ticket.
I
I've
have
gotten
fucking
both of them
2.
in DC, but DC's a fucking vicious place.
It really is. Like, the cameras fucking everywhere. Like, obviously there's a higher density of police just waiting to, like, pounce on you.
That's a whole other economy, man. Just making money off of people who are not really doing anything dangerous, just driving 5 miles over the speed limit.
100%. There's,
Stupid.
like, especially around my house where I live right now. This is Virginia, so it's a different thing. But towards the end of the month, you always see, like, cop cars hiding in different like nooks and crannies and shit. I know where all their hiding spots are now, so I'm like, okay, gotta slow down on this bend here.
Right.
Gotta
That's
slow
something
down
I
up here.
noticed as well.
Yeah.
That's both times when I was pulled over. It was.
Oh,
because of
one of the
speed trap.
traps.
Mhm,
I hate
both
that
times.
shit.
Yeah, the first time I was not 18 yet, and I had 2 people in the car with me, which is a big no-no.
Oh yeah,
and-
I forgot
yeah,
that was like a rule.
Oh, you
that
told
was
me
a
about this.
It was like 3 weeks before my birthday. It was like, it was
Happy
frustrating.
birthday.
Shut up. I pulled over, and like, the speeding ticket wasn't that bad. Like, it was bad, obviously, but the big thing was the passenger restriction.
Yeah.
I ended up going to court, and the judge was like, okay, take this course and just forget about like, he helped me out, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I got another speeding ticket, like, kind of more recently.
Damn.
Coming off the highway, I hadn't adjusted to the fact that I was no longer on a highway. I was on a regular road.
Oh, okay.
Speed trap.
It does take a minute if you're on a highway for a really long time.
Yeah, 100%.
You just, yeah.
That's so annoying.
But
Oh, sorry.
what are you going to talk about?
I was just gonna say the most annoying thing is when, and this happens a lot, especially over where you guys are, is when they leave cop cars, like just empty ones,
empty
in
ones.
the middle of like
on,
the
like-
median to
Mhm.
like scare you, I guess. I'm just like,
I mean, it works.
yeah,
it,
it
works.
does work, but I'm like, surely that car could be put to better
Oh.
use somewhere else.
There was I don't remember how long ago this was. I think I was in like a 5th grade or something like that, and we were going to this field for the day. Me and my brothers have been off and on playing soccer for the summers for years. It's just like, oh, let me get my kids something to do during the summer so I don't have to look at them that often. And they sent him to go to soccer. And I was there, and when I was eating an orange slice, and we were passing a soccer ball back and forth, and then someone kicked it, and it went over under a cop car that was just parked in this little median, like in the field. And I was just like, oh shit! And then we went over and crawled under, and then because we didn't see anybody in the car, so I was like, we'll just go get it. And then I heard the door open while I was underneath the car, and someone walked out, and he was like, a bunch of cans fell out of the car, and trash, and like receipts. And I was just like, oh shit! And he was like, somebody under the car, please come out. I was just like, yeah, and then I pushed the ball out, and he freaked out. It was like he took a step back. He was like, shit! And I called it after. I was like, what do you think you're doing? I was like, well, we kicked the ball underneath. And he was like, oh, well, make sure it doesn't happen again. I have to sit here all day. And he just sort of like was really gruff about it, as if we had done something to him. And, yeah, but that was it. But yeah, parked cars all over the place, just trying to make people scared.
I like to imagine him immediately like pulling out his gun and shooting the ball. It was like, freeze!
But there was another cop story with my dad. I don't remember how long ago this was. I wasn't born yet. And they were going to the beach. My mom, him, my half-sister, and my half-brother, and I think my oldest brother, that's my full brother, was like a little baby. And they were all going to the beach. And then my dad's speeding. He gets pulled over by a cop. And the cop's like, hey, idiot, don't do that anymore. And my dad's like, sure, okay. And then they keep going, and they're like out of the county that they were in now. They're somewhere else. They get pulled over again. It's the same cop. And he goes just like,
what?
Apparently the first time they had a conversation, my dad was just like trying to play up. He's like, man, I really hate speeders. I'm so sorry about that. My dad speeds all the time. And he was just like, never happens again. Never happen again. I'm sorry. I was distracted. We were trying to navigate. And he was just like, oh, I totally understand. And he was like a mustache guy. He was like back in the 90s or whatever. And then they left that guy, and then they happened again 3 times now with the same cop. And he got a ticket the 3rd time for like $200.
Dude, what the fuck? This cop must have been like following your dad or something.
Based on that
cop
story,
was on his way to the beach as well.
He had like suntan lotion on his nose. He was like, hey, what do you want? Hey,
listen, man, you're gonna make it take forever for us to get to this beach.
He's wearing the official
sit behind you and watch you
police
fucking
beach
speed.
shorts. Something similar almost happened to me, where I was like also driving down the highway going to the beach. But there were a lot of cars, right? So there was a good amount of traffic, but it was moving. And the speed limit is like 60 or 65, I think, technically. But I was going 80 easily. And so were all the other cars, right? Like, you go with the flow of traffic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, you have to go with the flow of traffic. That's what my driver's ed teacher always told me. It's a safety thing. Like, you should go with the flow of traffic, even if it's over the speed limit. And then, especially on those, like, major highways, cop cars will always be, like, buried in like the fucking woods, like, you know, that like divide the northbound and southbound lanes of the highway. And sometimes they'll just pop out of the fucking woods after you see them come from the corner of your eye, and you're like, fuck, they immediately like are coming for me because I was speeding right in front of them. And so I'm going, and immediately like all 20 cars like around me like slow down, like everyone puts their brake lights on, like drops to, like 60 miles an hour. And I was like, okay, which one of us is gonna get fucked? And instead of going for like the nearest car, this cop car must have had someone in particular in mind. Someone must have been going like 85 or like 90 to like really draw his attention. But I also felt kind of bad because he like literally swerved around me and a bunch of other cars to get to the furthermost lane, drove up a little, and pulled over this really shitty, beat up like Honda Civic that these two, I guess like Hispanic, like immigrant Mexican guys were driving.
He has a fucking radar for.
Yeah. So I was like, this feels like it's a little bit of a race thing. I can't tell because I don't know how fast they were going, but
Unbelievable.
I don't know. Would Virginia's finest really be going after minorities? It's a hard call to make.
Virginia's a paradise. Post-racial.
I mean, Obama was president. Why would we be racist anymore?
You just talking about the cars going like 80 and 90. Yeah. You reminded me of when I got pulled over the first time. I took like a defensive driving course, right? And we went through explaining why we were there, like each of us. And I was like, everyone else was like, oh, I was doing 165 and at 12. I was drunk and high and my car was upside down. And I was like, I was going 14 over. and I had an extra person in my car. It's just,
You
it was
fucking
weird.
monster.
It's just weird. It felt. I
Everyone
was like, I
gasped.
shouldn't be here, man.
It moved away from you
A hush
slightly.
falls over the room.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you belong here. You belong in the advanced class.
God damn. Yeah, I was driving a boat on the highway. I got loose.
I was in my jet fighter on the highway. I was nearly taking off, and the cop pulled me over.
Yeah, my pirate ship was, going a little too slow, but it's fine. It wasn't street legal technically, I guess. It's fine. But I'm trying to think if I've had any police interactions that are outside of driving. One time at a concert, I don't know if I should tell the story or not.
Think carefully.
I don't know. Well, okay, one time at a concert, I had to deal with like a good cop, bad cop routine.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and it was like very obvious. Like one of them was being like really nice to me. It's like,
Do they have name tags like good cop and bad cop?
yeah. One of them was officer.
One had an evil mustache, and the other one was like sunglasses and like, has a smile on their face.
One of them was officer
Sunshine.
good, spelled Gude, and the other officer was officer bad, spelled Bhad.
B-A-H-D.
It was like, I'm officer good and I'm officer bad.
Welcome to hell.
But there's such a fucking obvious like good cop bad cop shit where they were trying to get me to answer like a bunch of questions. And,
Where are the drugs? Where are the drugs? Where are the
which is the funny thing is my thing wasn't even drug related. Like it actually is not that serious. I'm just being overly cautious about this. But
Sounds like it is drug related.
it's not. Okay, basically I tried to buy a beer underage. I went up to a lady and I was like, "Can I have a beer?" And like it didn't work out for me. But the thing is that at that fucking concert, it was ridiculous the amount of people that was smoking weed. Like the entire back half of the crowd that was like on the lawn portion was smoking weed. I'm like, you guys could make so many easy arrests right now. Instead, you waited for me to fall into your fucking trap when you could have just done like 40 people at a time and like immediately like filled your books or your quotas for the day. Instead, you're going after little old me because I wanted to have a Bud Light when I was 19 years old. God. See, that's why I don't have like... I haven't had like a good interaction with the cops, It's always just to like fuck up your day for like barely any good reason, But I guess it's all about the thin blue line.
That's weird.
Yeah. I mean, what? Have you had a...
blue line? What?
That's what they say because cops live dangerous lives, basically. I don't exactly know what that means.
What is that noise?
That is the footsteps from upstairs, the wood floor
Oh, it
upstairs.
sounded like someone was like strangling a squeaky toy.
Sorry.
I'm glad we referenced it because now it means I won't have to edit it out. There's always a bunch of...
I can't imagine how you would edit that out. It's been happening. You just noticed that?
Yeah, I thought it was your chair or something. I was like, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I was doing that the whole time. I closed the door to the closet over there because things were making noise.
Yeah, that basement is just like a noise fucking trap. Like when I listen to your audio after you record, like not to say like this is your fault or anything. Like I'm not trying to shit on you. But I'm just saying like it's amazing like the amount of different noises that basement can produce that I have to like noise reduce and shit. But anyways, wait, we never talked about the fucking balloon thing I wanted to talk about.
What?
So Trump's going to visit the UK in a little bit, and
God.
some fucking group or something, I don't know who, they got a big inflatable balloon of an angry Donald Trump as like a baby in a diaper with a phone in hand. It's a giant. It's called the Trump baby, and it's been given the green light to fly over Parliament when he's visiting. It was approved by the London mayor.
Good.
So, like, that's definitely like a personal fucking pot shot.
This will make everybody happy. This will ease the tensions.
Surely this will ruin Trump finally.
This will fucking own him. What a troll.
This is
Trump resigns after balloon
Okay,
flown
now
in
this
London.
is epic.
epic owned #resist.
I mean, I hate him too, but fucking A.
Yeah.
Come up with new jokes. It's always just like, PP tape. Haha. You have
Tiny
small hands.
Yeah.
Got him.
Orange. It's just lazy. I don't know. There's
Stephen
some...
Colbert's show. I like that show sometimes, but fucking A. I'm so tired of his humor. It's like always like centered around the one or two jokes that he makes all the time. He'll like have some build up or something, and then like like allude to Trump being a Nazi, and then everybody goes like, "That's funny. That's not funny." No, it's not. It's not funny, and it's not that I don't agree. It's just that you say the same thing every fucking day, and I want to die now.
Oh yeah, I agree. That show, as much as I love Stephen Colbert.
Then they bring Jon Stewart out, and everybody was like,
Jon Stewart.
Okay, but I love Jon Stewart.
Boy. Oh my god.
His debate with Bill O'Reilly, where he didn't know the difference between GDP and gross domestic. Oh my god.
GDP and gross domestic product are the
No,
same
I'm thinking about the other thing. He mixed up GDP and something else.
Jon Stewart or Bill O'Reilly?
No, it was Jon Stewart.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember.
They had a whole debate.
I've never seen that.
It was actually really interesting because you could just sort of see it wasn't like about mudslinging. It was just like two people having a conversation.
Interesting.
I love Jon Stewart. I miss Jon Stewart so fucking much.
I haven't watched many clips of The Daily Show recently because there's just so much Trump stuff.
Yeah.
I was watching Jon Stewart before I understood politics.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. I used to watch with my parents all the time.
And right as I started to understand politics, he was like, "All right, I'm done."
I'm out.
I haven't stopped watching John Oliver though. I can't get enough of that. Last week tonight.
I still find Trevor Noah funny.
Yeah, he's funny. It's just that some shows like just end up being the same. Like what was it? The Opposition or whatever with Jordan Klepper. I preferred him as like a sometimes dude.
Yeah. There was some. So Larry Wilmore originally tried to take Colbert's slot. He's this like black comedian on Comedy Central who's been there for like a while. It was called The Larry Wilmore Show. If you looked at a picture of him, you'd probably recognize him. He was a Daily Show like contributor or something, whatever they call them, for a while. And it wasn't that funny, and it got canceled pretty quickly. I don't know what they have in that slot these days.
Oh yeah, it was like it was a night one.
Yeah. But The Daily Show obviously still exists with Trevor Noah, and I was actually listening.
The nightly show.
I was listening to the most recent episodes because they are in a podcast form, and they're actually pretty funny. Like it's not like the usual like Trump is ugly, blah 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 shit. It was actually they do some Trump stuff, but it's sometimes pretty new and interesting, and then they do a bunch of other different stories that are cool. So I actually like Trevor Noah, and I think he's doing a good job.
I love him too. He his special that he had when he was talking about how what white people think about what Africa is like, where it's just like a tin can and a desert and one starving boy, and that's the entire country. Whereas if like you've ever been to South Africa or any of the other developed parts of the nation, it's just like huge rising towers and shopping malls and everything else we have. And just like you guys think that we live in dirt and eat like sand and stuff.
Yeah, his stand-up specials are so good, and that's why I was so excited when he took over the Daily Show. And it's kind of a bummer that people like aren't. That show doesn't have like the same level of clout it once did. I feel, if that's a word you can use, because he doesn't have one. He doesn't really have the legacy, and two, like I don't know, he hasn't caught on for some reason. Like the big talk show people now are like political humorists, whatever you want to call them. I feel like John Oliver's at the top of that list.
Which used to be Jon Stewart's.
Yeah. So John Oliver was definitely like... John Oliver literally succeeded Jon Stewart for a little bit on The Daily Show when Jon Stewart was filming his movie.
You know what's interesting? People have come around... It's about comedians who talk about, like, in general have opinions and stuff. People have come around from loving Ricky Gervais to hating the shit out of Ricky Gervais.
I've always liked him. I like him more now.
I like him less now.
It seems like a lot of people don't like him.
Pena, why do you like him less now? I'm curious.
He's so over the top and extra with his, I'm an atheist. Everything is, you believe in God? You're an idiot.
Yeah, but he's always been that way.
Yeah, and I guess when I was younger, I used to think that was cool, and now that I'm older, I'm just like, you're being really annoying. Who cares?
Most people seem to have that opinion of him.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think about him?
I think he's funny when he's on talk shows because he doesn't really go to a preachy point. He just sort of...
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
he was on Stephen Colbert and he got very preachy.
Like he's...
Colbert's whole thing is he's a very godly man.
He can absolutely still be funny in like doses and
He's
when he stays
witty.
away from the preachy stuff, but he can get like real preachy really fast. And, like the photo shoots he does where like he like crucified himself or whatever is like that's just like so extra.
I think that's less
That's a lot.
extra, just more interested in making people uncomfortable and pushing their buttons.
Doesn't
Because
make me
he knows-
uncomfortable. I'm just
He
like
knows that crucifixions are like the staple of most American households. They have the crucifix with Jesus on the mantelpiece or something like that. So he was just like, let me put this here, or maybe he just thought he looked cool. I don't know.
Yeah, but like it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. It's just that like
It's not you though that he's looking to make.
yeah,
uncomfortable.
yeah, but I can still react to it. I'm just like, it seems like you're trying a little too hard right now.
Okay.
You know, I don't know.
But the point is, at the end of the day, Ricky Gervais doesn't care about anything. He's
Sure,
just interested
that's
in
fine.
himself.
Actually, I would say that he cares a little bit too much
About what?
about.
I'm talking about the opinions of other people.
I think he cares, just like how some idiots care too much about owning the libs. He cares a little bit too much about owning the evangelical Christians or whatever his version of that is. He really just he wants to have an epic own, Patrick. He really wants to be able to say, yes, I epically owned you.
So you're saying he cares too much about the thing he cares too much about? What do you like? That's his whole thing. That's him.
I know,
Always
and
been him.
I'm saying it's like a little bit much. Like you can like shit on religious people and like your jokes and stuff all the time, but he goes to like great lengths.
He doesn't.
I don't know. I don't even care about
He
like
points
religious people.
out,
I just
like-
think like he's not that funny when he does it, and it's just a little extra. Like it's kind of cringy.
He does talk about it a lot, but I don't think he is extra when he does talk about it. I feel like a lot of the times he has genuine conversations and asks interesting questions. He had a conversation. I don't know if you'd call it a conversation. Him and Piers Morgan were quoting each other, like there was like a chain of quotes, and it's sort of like it almost reminds me of we were just talking about Jon Stewart, where he can be like serious, and then pop a joke and go, "Hey, I'm just a comedian, bro. Calm down. We're just making some jokes." They would have a serious conversation, him and Piers Morgan. And then at one point, Piers Morgan, they're talking about religion. Piers Morgan says, you're going to be so mad when there is an afterlife and you see me there. And Ricky Gervais goes, I just won't look down. And it was like funny. And it was like, I don't know. I think
That's
he's
pretty good.
too extra. Like, yes, a lot of stuff he talks about is religion, but when he does go about it, he's not just like, you're a dumb idiot for thinking religion. Like, he asks questions that'll make the person think and gives answers that
Like
are kind of...
It's also the fans
Yeah.
of people that can ruin them, and it's
Yes.
definitely the fans of
Yes,
Ricky
that-
Gervais.
I'll give you
Those
that.
cringy
Yes.
atheists that like constantly talk about how atheists they are, and talk about Ricky Gervais. Like it's the same thing with like videos like, oh, feminist gets owned by Logic, and then it's like Christian gets owned by Ricky Gervais Logic or something
Yeah.
like that. It's just like people make these videos. He has no intention of making those videos. He just made his
Right.
comedy special or whatever, or he tweets or something like that, and they just take that shit like. What was the one tweet that has been repeated over and over again till the end of time that he made about religion? What was it?
I don't remember.
There-
There's like quite a few.
There is quite a few,
Handful,
but there's
yeah.
one in particular I can't remember.
Any video like that is like, oh, epic SJW gets owned by Logic, or like Ben
One
Shapiro
person talks
slams
louder than the
college
other person and
leftists.
interrupts them over and over. That's pretty much the end of it.
Yeah, it's like any stupid video like that. They pop up on Facebook a lot, and I guess more increasingly Twitter and YouTube. And I'm just like, this is dumb, and I don't care.
Did you see
like,
Joe Rogan was talking about
I love
immigrants and how people getting ripped away from their families and stuff? And it was shocking because usually Joe Rogan is like sort of like a
Yeah, usually he doesn't take a fucking
he just
stance.
agrees with whoever's on his show. Goes like,
Yeah.
that's really interesting.
yeah,
that.
It could be something like really viciously racist, and he'll be like, "That's interesting. That's a weird way to
Yeah.
put that." But in this stance, he was like very like vicious about it. He was just like, "This is fucked up, and you're not."
Yeah.
Who do you have?
part of the team."
Who is he talking to? Who's on his
I
show?
don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. The person he was talking to didn't say much in
They
the
agree
clip
with
I'm
him.
thinking about. Yeah, but it wasn't vicious like it was like radical. It was very just like
You can tell he cared
yeah. It was very he cared
because
a lot
he has
because it
kids.
yeah. He was talking about how like some people are like talking about how immigrants being ripped away from their families shouldn't be here illegally. Just don't break the law. Just don't break the law. And he talks about how like if you see a mother being ripped away from her child because she's here illegally, and your first response is like, "Oh, don't be here illegally." Like,
You're
that's-
not
you
part of the
shouldn't be
team,
think-
is what he said.
you're not.
You're not
he kept
part
saying,
of the
"You're
team.
not. I don't want you on the team. You're an asshole."
He said, whether if you're
And-
left or right, I don't care.
Yeah,
You're a
religious or
fucking
not,
asshole.
it's you're an
That was
asshole.
really
That's not how.
satisfying.
That shouldn't be your first response, and it makes sense. It feels like that shouldn't be preached. It feels like that's common sense.
Mm.
You see something like that, and your first response should be like, "This is
Not
wrong.
anymore.
We should not do this. We should change how this is happening and
But
why
now
this is
there are
happening."
people who are going out and feel that it's okay to say these fucking vicious things because They feel that it's okay because they've seen that other people walk out and say that it's okay. So they say that it's okay, and then people below them say it's okay. And it's just like this feeling of like, oh, I'm an asshole. I was an asshole according to the people around me. Now this person standing up there says, I'm not an asshole. I'm a patriot.
It's literally, it's like the video of the lady who's yelling at the Hispanic man who is...
Stop selling water! I saw that shit. That's fucking crazy.
And she literally says... I think she calls him like a rapist and murderer.
Yeah,
or something.
She's literally just quoting the president. Like,
she literally says President Trump said so, or something along those lines. Like, she literally says he said it, which is why she's saying it.
Yeah, that shit's
fucking
ridiculous. Well,
yeah.
I would say, I want to make 2 different points. One in regards to that argument dumbasses make. They're like, well, if you don't want your kids ripped away, just don't come here illegally. To that point, they're escaping incredibly violent, dangerous countries to say. So this is like them trying to save their lives and save their family. So have a little bit of empathy, you idiot. And 2,
whether or not they were coming here for good reasons, it doesn't matter. You should be treated like a person. That's it. Whether or not you're fleeing from a horrible regime, you should be walking in and not put in a cage like a chicken. It's like, that's it.
Ripped apart from your loved ones.
Regardless of your backstory. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. But also, coming to the United States and applying for asylum through a port of entry, like at the border, for example, is not being here illegally. You will just unfortunately be detained while your case can be processed, but you are not technically here illegally, so those people can fuck off too. They're following the law as we have it established.
Did you see the John Oliver segment? Maybe I was the only one, because I watched Last Week Tonight a lot, and it was one of them where he was talking about how kids who are taken at the border and their parents are sent home, the kids are given no representation because they're not technically a citizen, so they don't have a lawyer.
So
court, they have to do the representation themselves, and they're basically given a few things that they want. And they almost never get to say anything. They just get like a hammer, and then that's it. And then of course, the case is over. And you see these videos of these kids standing there, like shivering, like so scared and like just worried and not being able to understand what anybody's saying. It's just like, why is that okay to you? Why do you not care?
It's fucking ridiculous. The other thing I will say is that Joe Rogan has occasionally been having like more bright spots recently.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he is getting fed up with the whole anti-SJW bullshit crowd. Like he had Candace Owens on a recent episode and Dave Rubin on a recent episode. Candace Owens one was funny as fuck because she kept saying all this stupid shit, and Joe was getting like increasingly mad, and he's like he asked her like, so what do you think about climate change? She was like, you know what, I thought a lot about climate change because I researched it really heavily one night, and I read article after article, and eventually I came out on the side that, it just doesn't exist, or like we don't know enough about it. And Joe was just like, what the fuck is this lady? What the fuck? Because you read a few articles one night, you're just all of a sudden going to definitively say that climate change like doesn't exist? What the fuck?
She Googled climate change doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Read the articles that pop up. That's the worst kind of research. My mom, when she's trying to prove a point, will like she'll be like, I'm gonna make this food, you should eat it because it's good for you. And I'll be like, all right, we can make a million other foods that taste better that are good for you in the same exact way. And she's like, no, this is good for you, look. And she'll Google, why is this thing good for you, and you'll get a million reasons why it's good for you. Why that one that's not how you do research.
Why cigarettes are good for you.
Bill Burr.
Right, you can literally look, yeah, exactly.
Bill Burr said something like, I don't remember, like he was talking with his wife, and she was arguing that, we shouldn't get a pit bull because of these reasons. It's like, no, you didn't do research. You went to imright.com and you printed out this article and you're showing it to me.
Yeah.
Like, people will just find whatever stupid articles from whatever random-ass blogs or bullshit websites that confirm their opinions. Like, unless it's from, like, New York Times, Washington Post, or, like, something ending in .edu that's, like, a study, it doesn't count. So
wait, do you say New York Times and whatever?
Washington Post or something ending. Well, there's obviously more than that. But
I'm not saying that those are always untrustworthy, but don't stop there. Don't just say,
don't
all
stop
right,
there.
says the New York Times.
I don't want to list like all 100 plus reasonable, like reputable places you can go to learn about climate change.
Oh, of course.
And the other thing that's hilarious is that Joe Rogan had Dave Rubin on, who's another anti-SJW annoying motherfucker. and he was talking about Candace Owens, and Joe was obviously very annoyed and was like, doesn't think highly of her anymore. And Dave Rubin had the audacity to say, I think Candace Owens is more influential and has done more for the black community than Kanye West. And Joe was like, okay, really? You sure about that? Like Candace Owens, who's only been relevant for like 6 months now.
I honestly
Kanye
don't
West,
know what either of them done for that, so I wouldn't be one to.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of influence, Kanye West is.
He made a lot of donations, I'm sure, to his city. Right?
Yes.
I almost said shitty.
Stop.
Kanye
I'm
West,
not making a joke. I just said.
Come
I
on,
almost,
Patrick.
Shut the fuck up.
barring recent controversy, Kanye West has obviously influenced the African American community
Chicago,
and
right?
music scene.
But didn't
in
Chance,
tremendous
who was the one who
ways.
came out and said, what have you done for Chicago recently? And talking about Kanye. Who said that?
I think that was some guy who runs his mom's old charity foundation or something. I don't remember.
What have you
I don't
done
remember
for
his
me
name.
lately?
Yeah, I don't remember.
But yeah,
But-
Joe Rogan has some dumb opinions about gender, though.
Yeah, he does. Like, he's still definitely a dumbass in certain areas, but I don't know. Like, if some straight white aggressive boys listen to him and think Candace Owens is dumb, then I guess that's a
It's-
small victory in and of
it's-
itself.
It's annoying because someone will have, I can't think of another word for this than a polite, hateful opinion. Like, where they're just like, I'm sorry, this is the way that I was raised. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but this is how I feel. And they're not like going out and yelling. So people will be like, you know what? You have to respect that. They're not hurting anybody. It's like, but that thing that they
Exactly.
think and they talk about on their huge show is vicious and awful and, disenfranchises an entire class of citizen. You have to think about that before you're saying all these polite things.
Dude, 100%. That's a great way of putting it. Because especially in the recent case of that gay bakery or whatever that wouldn't make the cake for the gay couple on religious grounds.
Civility.
The gay bakery.
Yeah, the very much not a gay bakery. People were like, yeah, that's fine. Like, that's First Amendment. They should be able to believe what they want to believe. And, you're the real oppressor if you don't let them believe that. Like, just go to a different baker. I'm just like, if a religion said that, like, they can sacrifice children at the dawn of midnight and drink their blood,
You gotta respect
am
it.
I expected to be like, you know what? It's protected under the First Amendment, freedom of religion. I think we just have to respect them and, like, let bygones be bygones. Just participate in a different midnight ritual, all right? You don't have to eat babies yourself if you don't like it. Basically, that stupid line of reasoning.
Yeah,
But
if it's in an old book or some old thing, then you have to respect
yeah,
it.
because it's in a fucking old... I mean, that's a whole different fucking, like, religion.
It's not old. It's gotta be
Conversation.
old.
Yeah, it's all
Tom Segura is funny.
stupid. Okay. Do we have a good amount of fan
You need to blow
stuff
through
to
all of it.
go through? Let's fucking blow the load. Patrick, I'll let you read the first one actually this time. You seem very thrilled.
Loading.
You're loading it. I'm gonna pull up the YouTube in the meantime.
You do
'cause they're
that.
I'm
actually-
doing
No,
that,
yeah, I mean, you do that. Yeah, that's fair.
bitch.
We got some good comments this week actually that I really liked.
Damn, he said every comment before this week has been shit. Those
Why
were
do we
his
still have
words.
this email from Plastic
Why are you
Bag
yelling?
Productions?
No, we got another one.
Oh,
Yeah.
why is it so slow? It's lagging a lot.
Okay. Well, you're wasting my time.
Shut up.
Get wrecked.
This is from Miriam. I don't know if it's Miriam or Miriam. Hi, I hope you see this in good health. I love your podcast, and I'm so glad you guys exist. Makes my week, honestly. I also wanted to say, though, that since you're already putting this podcast on iTunes, you could upload the video with your faces on YouTube. Oh, this is what I was talking about earlier. I mean, the point of YouTube is views, right? That would increase views by a huge amount. So just a suggestion. Yeah, again, I love the podcast and the topics. They're exactly the right amount of political. Thanks for bearing with me, Miriam. I think when I originally read this email, I didn't know if she knew that we put the podcast on YouTube, which we do. You can go check it out. But yeah, it doesn't have our faces on it. And since we already talked about that, I guess we don't need to repeat this. But yeah, our faces are ugly, and we like to
It's
record
not
this
that. It's
naked.
just it would ruin the relaxed nature of this, and it's also it takes a lot more time.
Yeah, I feel like the editing time would increase like a hell of a lot more, and also I feel like some things would have to go wrong. Like I just can't help but think like something would go wrong
This
because
is barely
sometimes
held. This is held together by spit and tape.
yeah, like even like on our video
Absolutely.
calls, like sometimes like the cams get like blurry as fuck, and like I can barely see you guys.
We'd have to buy
sometimes
new
if it's like
HD
buffering. Yeah, so it's just not
We have it
really
so
worth
fucking
it.
hard.
Yeah, boo-hoo.
But thank you.
All right.
Marianne.
Thank you for your email, though. I really
Marianne.
appreciate the
I'm gonna read this one.
compliments.
Hi,
for it.
this is from Devin Beckett. So I was catching up on episodes you guys do, and you do college question, and you college question, and it reminded me that Yaman, I hate to spell his name, sorry, is like on the video game programming track or something. So I was wondering if he finds it as interesting as most people say that they think making a game is. You don't, now that he has a better frame of reference. And there's another question out of that, but you answered that.
I have not started the game programming side of my major. I am majoring in applied computer science with a concentration in game design, and I'm gonna be starting that next semester, the concentration in game design. But as of right now, I'm doing all the classes that a regular CS major would take. So it's just programming at this point, and I haven't gotten to the aspect. I feel like that will make things more interesting. I feel like it could only make things more interesting from what I'm doing right now. But yeah, I mean, I'll keep you updated.
So what you're saying is you actually haven't applied your computer science.
No, I have not.
Are you-
I have, just not for gaming. Yeah, I
Patrick,
have.
just say your
for
fucking
different
joke and get
things.
it over
Are
with.
you majoring in Counter-Strike?
Read the next one.
Also, I was wondering if you listened to that Wolverine podcast you talked about. I was going to check it out, but I heard it cost money. So I didn't. Did I miss something good? I forgot that existed, but now that I know it costs
also
money, I'll never see it.
Forgot it existed. How the fuck? I fucking hated your joke so much I knocked over my fucking microphone and it hit something on my keyboard, and now your face is full screen and I don't know how to stop it.
Press it again, I think.
I don't know what to
Somebody
press. That's the
Somebody
thing.
should open up the YouTube comments and tell me which one's to
There we
read,
go.
if any.
Here, I'll read one. We got a lot of comments on this video for some reason. Yaman, why don't you read the one from Christy? How about that?
Okay, I will read the one from Christy.
Even on there.
Huh?
Never mind.
Okay. I don't know how to feel that the first comment I left here and got read out loud was about bagels. I was probably half asleep when I wrote that, but I just got really excited about bagels. It's the small things that make me happy. Understandable. I just started watching these podcasts, and it was really sweet to hear all of you get so excited about the fan art. I wish I was talented enough to draw you something, but art is not my strong suit. I'll have to rack my brain and think of something I could contribute. It was also hilarious to hear you mention the demographic this podcast appeals to. I just got it recommended to me on YouTube out of nowhere, and I'm an 18-year-old from South Carolina, so I don't know how I ended up here. I also wasn't aware your demographic smoked a lot of weed. I don't, but some of my friends do, so that's interesting. I do like some Marvel stuff along with Vines, and I think the first podcast recommended to me was the one from way back about Hawkeye's uselessness as a superhero, so that could be what got me here. I had to skip around to get to the more recent stuff. That's a great podcast. That's one of our I'd say I'd put that in top 10.
I'm really funny.
But I won't make you read a super long comment if you do read this.
Well,
Keep being
fucking
yourselves. Lots of love from South Carolina.
Thank
fucking
you.
led with
Thank
that.
you,
That was
Chrissy.
really insightful. I didn't know that people just sort of stumbled upon us. I figured everybody came from my Instagram because I'm a god.
Yeah.
Yes.
It always
that's
makes
how
me
it
happy
is.
that people are discovering us through random ways. Like the recommendation feature on YouTube is actually working
Like some person
how it's
in the
supposed
back
to.
alley is like, "Do you want to be annoyed and uncomfortable? Listen to this."
It's like, oh wow, this is actually annoying me and making me uncomfortable. Thank you.
This is before we read the next one, a little side note. Yesterday I was with some friends for 4th of July, and we were playing Cards Against Humanity, and I don't remember what the prompt was, the black card was, but it was my turn to read all of everyone's what everyone played and pick the funniest one, and one of the ones was having a shitty podcast, and I said it, and I looked up, and everyone laughed, and it was
Oh my
it was
God.
great. It was great. Sorry, yeah, I just wanted to put that out
That
there.
makes me feel bad. All right, this one's from Ingrid Hefta. Hi guys, this has almost no relevance to anything but said recently, but I thought you guys would appreciate it. Recently, my mom couldn't think of Kanye West's name, and after several failed attempts at describing him, she kind of just shouted, "Oh, Kardashian's manslave." That's bad. And oddly enough, we all got that and we're laughing quite a while. Anyway, I thought you guys would enjoy it. Keep making great podcasts. And Yaman, you were definitely missed when you're not on.
Patrick, you added that part.
I swear it was
You
in
can
there.
fucking read it.
Where is it?
It's on the
I
Prude.
keep
I'm
telling
kidding.
you, use the login for this fucking thing, but you never do. You're like, I don't need it.
Yeah, no, I don't need it.
I'll read this one. One is from Sierra. Hey dudes, just finished listening to number 50, and it was great as always. I'm glad Yaman is back. I know life can be hectic, so I hope all of you are doing all right. The podcast is really the highlight of my week. You guys have such interesting conversations. I can watch a whole video and feel like time has barely passed. I know Patrick has had people come up to him and recognize him, and I wanted to know how Alex and Yaman
We've read this one.
No, we haven't.
We've read this
It
one.
would be chronologically impossible for us to have read
you
this.
sent this one in the group
Idiot.
chat.
Yeah,
This
I
is
did.
how it
Sorry,
happens. I
sorry.
read it on Xbox or something, and then you think it's already
And I wanted to
Yeah.
know, are Alex and Yaman also okay with that? I have a friend that goes to George Mason, and I possibly saw Yaman when I was visiting, not recently. I wasn't sure if he was comfortable with that, so I didn't say anything and kind of bolted out of there. I didn't tell my friend that I knew you from somewhere either, since I was with my older brother too, and explaining the whole "this is a guy I know from the internet" thing might have been awkward. I follow you all on Twitter and Insta, so I recognized him from that. I know Patrick isn't a fan of hugs, so I was just curious. Thank you for all of your hard work. I can't wait for the next episode. From Sierra. Thank you, Sierra.
That would be awesome. Yes, you can absolutely do it. If you see me and come up to me and be like, hey, I
It
see
would
you.
make your entire year.
It would make my life. I'd blow my brains out right there.
All right,
Like,
that's
all right,
as good as it'll
I'm done.
get.
Yaman carries around a gun to like kill himself immediately as
In
soon as
case.
someone recognizes him. So it's honestly,
case
you have to
someone
balance the fact
recognizes-
of like getting a picture with Yaman versus like
Is it
ending his
worth it?
life.
Yes, it is.
He's like a bee, once he like stings someone, he's dead. He's a goner. It's really a trade-off. Yeah, you can come up to me.
February.
No, it's an older one. Yeah, we have like some archived emails. Yeah, feel free to come up to me if you see me, if you ever see me. I feel like our fans are pretty spread out. But if you,
Yeah.
for some reason, see me while I'm anywhere, feel free to come up to me. I know that there's another girl that mentioned she's going to BU next year. So if you are listening and you see this, feel free to, stop me. Unless I'm like on my way to class or something and I might be in a rush. But otherwise, if I don't look like I'm rushing anywhere, feel free to stop me, say hi or whatever.
Not in a big time rush.
Yeah, if
same.
I'm not in a big time rush.
What?
But yeah, I think this is the same girl that emailed us, and she was in my friend's orientation group, because then my friend messaged me and was like, "Hey, some person just said they were a big fan of your podcast. I didn't know you had a fucking podcast. What is going on?" And I was like, "Ugh."
that you wouldn't like freak out, yo.
I would.
I know.
How would you?
Did I say it?
No, it
would?
just
Yeah,
makes
I
it
would. I
like
totally
in
would.
like a oh shit, I don't know what to do way.
Oh, I don't think you think I'd be like awkward?
No, not awkward necessarily. Just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be stunned. that Somebody recognized me from the podcast.
I
Absolutely.
think I would also be stunned, and I would probably definitely be awkward because I'm bad at handling situations in like an adept way. I would just be like, "Hey," and then if you ask for a picture, which I don't know why you do that, because I look weird in pictures most of the time, I would make sure to look
nobody would
extra
know.
weird in your picture. Yeah, and also it's not like you can post that on Twitter and be like,
Right,
"Oh my
yeah.
god, look at this! I ran into
Just
Drake."
Oh my
Like
god.
you post a picture of me and people are gonna be like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like, what is-
You're like,
Who the
yo,
fuck
you were
is
giving
this
out money in God's plan. Do you have any money for me? And you pull out like a nickel, and you're like, that's pretty much.
There you go.
Get. This person commented. This is the one name that I read. I think it was on the XXXTentacion video, but it was like D007ization, and he says my username is meant to be read as the 007ization. By the way. Oh, obviously, I agree that trying to diminish other people's struggles by bringing up your own is pointless at best. At least I hope that's what you meant. From a purely statistic standpoint, life in our galaxy is actually quite likely, as I found this week. So yay, personally, I hope we'll be able to stimulate consciousness within our lifetime. That would be also quite the alien encounter.
Simulate.
Whatever. Your podcast never make me feel.
Just
Shut up.
different.
Your podcast never make. Shut up. Your podcast never fail to make me laugh. I'll be sure to leave an iTunes review when I get a smartphone in a week or so. Thank you for being so nice when you read my comment. It was kind of worried and I said something rude or annoying. Very original character trait, I know. Maybe you guys aren't the pretty heartbreakers that the girls who ask Patrick for career advice say you are. God damn. Fuck you, 007ization. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for your comment.
Shit.
I love how the comments and emails are always like little
Patrick's a
pot
bitch.
shots at
Anyway,
Patrick.
hey, Yaman, how you doing? Why is it Yaman back? Not to be cringy fanboy, but can I play Titanfall with you guys? No. But thank you for asking.
Michelle asks, how long do these take you to make?
An hour and a half.
I read that wrong, but that's
An
pretty
hour and a
much
half to
what
record,
it
and then
says.
whatever Penny uses, 5 hours to clip?
The podcast itself takes an hour and a half usually to record, and then usually have to wait a half hour for these idiots to send me their audio.
No,
after
it
I
takes
test
way
them.
less time than that.
No,
15
it's like
minutes.
10 minutes.
Then it usually takes
yeah.
me another hour and a
about
half.
7
to, like,
hours for
fully
these
edit,
stupid assholes to give me what I need.
to fully edit and export everything as fast as possible. I've kind of like streamlined the process as much as I can, but sometimes the fucking worst is when the audio is not syncing up as well as I'd like it to. But we've been on a lucky streak lately with that, so fingers crossed. I found lube, then next to it was an arrow.
Yeah, that was a weird comment. I don't know what it
Yeah,
means.
you should probably stick that up your ass. That's probably what it was meant
Jesus.
for. I can't get away with aggressive comments like you can. Like I just like immediately feel
Aggressive.
bad. And I'm like,
Because
oh,
you say them in
that.
such a tone that says like, I don't know. It doesn't work.
Does it sound like I mean it? Like a genuine tone is like you should stick it up your
It's
ass.
like you're trying too hard.
Fair. Like Ricky Gervais. I guess.
Cringy troll.
What is this is from Kelsey. Congrats on number 50, guys. I just started listening to this, but enjoy your content tons. Keep it up. Thank you. I am constantly amazed at the amount of people that have just started or have just found this. So I guess we're actually doing pretty well for ourselves. So thank you to everyone for
We rake in at least 5 attention every week. Split it among ourselves.
That's all we need. We each get 2 attention.
When you said we each, I thought you were saying re, and I was just like, what?
No.
Should
Hang
we?
on. We have a podcast review
Oh,
on iTunes. If you want to do us a favor and counteract that motherfucker who left us a mean review,
don't give him so much attention.
he wants the attention, and I want to give him attention.
And
so
it
he comes
definitely
back.
wasn't me.
What's better than this? Dudes being prude. This is from Zoe BW. That was the subject line. I love this podcast so much. It honestly makes my week whenever there's a new episode. The trifecta is so good at talking about absolutely anything, no matter how weird or sad or strange. Examples of being politics, movies, celebrities, life, etc. I recommend this podcast to so many fun people because of how funny and great it is, and will continue to do so. Thanks for reading my email and keep being awesome. If you're looking for a group of funny and articulate people to listen to, look no further.
That was
Thank
fucking
you for that.
sweet.
That was nice. That was too
Thank you.
nice. Wasn't there some other like Instagram thing we got that?
I don't know. You read
That
shit
speculated-
the moment we get it, so I don't fucking see it for like weeks.
Oh, hang on. It was on Twitter. This is from Yeska. Has a Prude's conspiracy theory thinking that Yaman is Manic Boy. Manic Boy being the person on iTunes that left us the nasty review. So
You can't prove anything.
I can't prove anything,
What is
but
it?
they think Yaman's the one that actually left the nasty review on iTunes, which could be possible.
He left an
Could
nasty
be.
review and didn't mention himself.
Yeah, exactly. So who's to say?
I think the younger one is completely full of himself and he has terrible opinions, completely selfish. I think the older one's a fool. His political affiliations are stupid. Not to mention, you have one person on your podcast that I like a lot. I think his name's Yaman.
He sounds incredibly good looking, unlike the other 2 idiots.
He sounds like he'd be a
He
handsome
sounds
man.
good looking.
He sounds like he has a 13-inch schlong, and I'd love to meet him
Got a
sometime.
schlanger.
Okay, I think that's it. All the other comments are random little ones that are nice and cute, so thank you for all those. Josh asks, so how do you guys feel about things that are red? I immediately associate that with communism, and I want to
thought
kill
it was
with my
about
bare hands.
Republicans.
Could be that too. Could be that.
In
but-
Justice League, The New Frontier, when the Flash is on TV talking about how he's tired of being persecuted and chased after and try to get him captured by the FBI to like experiment on him, he goes on TV in front of a camera and he's like blah 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 blah, and then one of the persons is in this diner and he was like, "Why does he wear red? Red's for commies," because it's set in this like McCarthy era
Yeah.
time. It's really interesting.
No, yeah, that was a real thing in history. It was really interesting.
I know.
I always thought that was like weird. That, like,
I
if
thought
your
it was
favorite
from that
color
Justice
was,
League movie.
Yeah, if your favorite color was red in the 50s, you basically got side eye all the time.
Yeah, the same thing with black.
Yeah. Ugh.
What?
Too real. Okay. I think that's it.
Hot take.
I think that's it. Unless you, Patrick, you got anything individually on Instagram or Twitter that you want to bring up?
No.
What if I had something individually on Instagram or Twitter?
I doubt it, but now's your time to present it.
I mean, I don't, but
Put
what
up or
if I
shut up,
did?
you bitch.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm gonna put your schlong on the table.
My schlong is on the table. You just can't see it because
There's not enough room on
chest
those
up
tables
in
that
the
you use for your
cam.
dick.
And that's why we don't record footage for these.
And that's why we don't do footage.
Like,
This whole podcast was to answer that
Because
question
it
that we
wouldn't be
stated
able
at the
to
very
fit.
beginning.
you physically cannot fit Yaman's 13.
All right, well, let's wrap this up.
Thank you again for
This is
listening, guys,
enough
to the
of that
Prude
joke.
Podcast, episode 51. If you want to leave us a podcast review on iTunes, that really helps the show, helps people find it. If you're listening on YouTube, drop a like. It helps other people find it, I guess. Share it with your friends. Tell the people. Scream it from the rooftops. If you
Tell
want to
your
follow
mom.
us on Instagram and Twitter, that's at Prude Dudes. If you want to follow us on our individual accounts, I'm at AlexPenda97. Yaman is at _Yaman. And Patrick is at PatrickShelter5. Is there anything else I'm forgetting?
Troll some people. Be epic.
Don't do that.
Grieve
Don't do that
someone's
either.
Minecraft server.
Don't do that either.
Do an epic troll, guys.
Don't do it. Don't listen to them.
And we'll see you again next week.
Cunt.
Bye.